Okay, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the 6 o'clock position on Antiga Shipyard. We have Complexity MVP's Catz. He is spawning as our yellow Zerg player. His opponent over here at the 2 o'clock position is Dignitas Killer. And Killer is our pink Zerg. There we go. And they had to pause real quick to see if this map was cross positions only. And it is not, as is evidenced by their 2 positions right here. And they do not know. That is true.
They may be speaking in Spanish, but I know enough to know that they do not know it's cross spawn.
Well done, sir.
Yes,
well done.
My Spanish skills are
got a little bit on the. I'll help a little bit if the German players jump in, but that's about all I've got. So
they rarely speak in German as well.
I know.
Almost all of them speak
Germans
English.
love to use their English. Like if like a lot of times, you know, because we will not return the favor as fun, ignorant Americans. No, I'm sorry, don't mean to slam all of America, but you go over to Germany though, and they're just dying to try out their English with you. So
that's really cool.
Yeah,
that's actually really cool. A lot of other cultures, like in America, oftentimes use their native language more often than English.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially if they're around English-speaking people who only speak English, they'll revert to their native language, and you have no idea what they're talking about.
Unless you do, and then it creates for awkward situations.
Yeah,
as you're a little bit more candid if you think no one knows what
absolutely.
you're saying. So.
I mean, I definitely know enough Spanish that there have been times where I know somebody's just completely talking smack about either white people or me specifically or a friend of mine, and it's just like, oh, well, that's pretty funny.
You know what? Without getting too philosophical and political, I love that multiculturalism, though, of America and the fact that we have so many cultures existing here side by side. So I definitely think that's a benefit. But here we go. A little bit of difference in our builds already as Killer is deciding to expand right away. Catz, on the other hand, did decide to go for a quick speedling build as he's already gathering that gas.
And Killer's already going to be in there with his Overlord right off the bat, so he's going to know exactly what Catz is up to. And he'll probably prepare accordingly. And he'll also probably get a beat on whether or not Catz is going to get a quick Baneling nest as well, which should give him a much better idea of what's going on, and he can probably get a Spine Crawler down, 2 Queens. But the natural on this map, definitely a little harder to hold than most other maps. It's got a pretty wide surface area.
Certainly.
And we saw that ZVZ in the group stages between Nesty and the Lean Octopus.
Oh, yeah.
Which was pretty crazy. I mean, Leanoc just absolutely took it to him on this map with a 10 gas.
Yeah.
And just didn't make a single drone after that, and just went all Lings and just showcased his ridiculous Ling micro.
That's actually something that Nesty has done himself in ZVZ play and stuff like that. So it was nice to see that thrown back at him, because most of the time, players, I don't know if it's just the presence that is Nesty when you're going up against him, but a lot of players like to refer back to, you know, safe, solid, not very creative builds, and sometimes it is that trickery that can catch Nesty off guard.
Yeah, not only going up against Nesty, especially going up against Nesty ZVZ.
Yeah,
it's got to screw with your mind a little bit.
I mean, decision making is just unbelievable.
And his ZVZ stats are off the chain. I mean, they're ridiculously good. They're better than MVP's TVT stats, which is pretty ridiculous.
And looks like this Overlord trying to get away. I think it's going to get out of there in time.
Indeed.
Shouldn't be too big of a problem. Maybe Catz will actually use these Zerglings to give his Queen vision for a little bit longer.
Queens off creep are like slower than Hydras.
And looks like it's, oh god, it's actually going to get pretty close. Now, 27 hit points. It's got to run, though. Get out of there. Already we have a Baneling Nest coming up for Killer. He's got quite a few Lings of his own, and because he did decide to put up that earlier expansion, he already has injects going. His supply is a little bit better as well.
Yeah, both players actually getting their Baneling Nests at relatively similar times here. Catz going for a drone. His speed is done just a bit earlier, so he's going to have that for a little bit here. Darting into the main, going to try and get a few drones here. Can he take out a few? There's one. And a second drone goes down right there. Yeah. So good job by Catz right there. Sacrifices about 5 Zerglings for. Oh, did he take out 3?
May have taken one out in the main as well. Or
yes,
in the natural as well. But
yes,
and I believe more importantly, he did get a scout on that Baneling Nest as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at his vision. Yes, he did. So his is coming up in response. And looks like there's already some Banelings morphing up for Killer at the moment, though, and we are going into some good old-fashioned Baneling Speedling tug of war.
Are those Banelings for Killer morphing at the 3rd? Is that where they are?
Yes, they are, as a matter of fact.
So he's going to run those in and try and take out some drones here. He does have some Zerglings in the mineral line as well. Catz scouts out those Banelings. Good job, though.
Oh, nice shot by Killer. Good control.
Yeah, both those Lings do get taken out for Catz, and now Killer sending in his banelings. They will get... Oh, actually, Catz missing right there.
Yeah, not great burst. He did weaken a few of these banelings, but he's only killed one, really. One more does go down. Two, actually. Looks like a third may burst on this queen here in a bit. So the banelings for Killer really haven't done that much damage quite yet, but the follow-up speedlings have.
Yeah, one queen goes down. There is an additional baneling that might make its way into the mineral line. No, it's going to head back, and things have stabilized here just a little bit. Killer slightly ahead, it looks like, is dropping his Roach Warren, and Catz actually droning up behind this, but he forgot to rally his drones back on the mineral line. He actually missed, so his drones at the natural hadn't been mining.
Oh, the ones that were sitting there at the back, you're absolutely correct. So
for about 30 seconds there, 45 seconds.
And that's reflected in supplies. 9 supply difference, and in a ZVZ, I mean, that's accounting for, now it's about a 15% supply difference between the two players, but that's considerable when every little advantage in a mirror matchup helps.
Yeah, absolutely. Every little advantage in a mirror matchup makes a really big difference.
Both players have Lair coming at about the same time, but of course Killer is going to be the recipient of that Roach Warren. It looks like he is saving up at least some gas for some upgrades, things along those lines. Show is disgusted and has left. Catz does manage to fend off that attack, but a drone is pulled off the line, and once again, Catz is waiting for a long time to pull that back.
Yeah, I got to check on that idle drone key a little bit more often. He's had quite a few idle drones throughout this. Catz actually not dropping a Roach Warren at all. Just going to sit back and wait until layers. So I think we might see Mutalisks here out of Catz, or later Roaches, perhaps, but I think it's going to be Mutalisks.
I agree. He's got a ton of resources building up as well.
Yeah, he's saving up quite a bit.
Killer, actually. I saw, as we were talking about that, I saw an infestation pit. My first thought went, oh, it's Catz! No, look at the colors. It is indeed
So Catz is just going for later Roaches, actually. The Roach Warren's coming down now. Interesting.
Does he have an evolution chamber? No.
No.
Oh, there's the, he's putting up Infestation Pit at the same time, so both players are going to move into Roach Infestor, but of course, Killer's going to have speed done a lot faster. He's going to have his Infestors out earlier. Overall, he's just pretty far ahead, although Burrow is now starting to hit for Catz, and I don't think that was started. No, it wasn't for Killer. So, a nice job there to go ahead. Oh, and he does pick off a few wings there of Catz, but, yeah, I mean, Killer's just really pressing his advantage at the moment.
Yeah, he certainly is. He doesn't have anything defending his natural, though. He hardly has any units. Catz is actually making his way in right now with a handful of speedlings. He could run by that spine crawler once again and get into the main, which would be disastrous for Killer, but he's choosing to go to the third, which Killer can defend, I think, with these roaches, and he has additional roaches popped out now. So he will be able to hold off these slings.
And it looks like Catz is going to do everything he can initially to take out that hatchery. Decides, though, that he wouldn't be able to take it once to get away with a few of those slings very smartly. But there is a couple of banelings morphing back here. And as he's going into Burrow, he should actually be able to hide those inside of the mineral line or very close to the point where they could do a lot of economic damage later.
Yeah, I think Killer will have a beat on it, though, because he has enough buildings morphing in that he would see those banelings. And looks like Catz is going for the surround here on these roaches. I don't necessarily agree with that. The additional roaches will ward off those zerglings, and he would have just taken way too much damage there had he stayed in. And Catz hasn't yet used those banelings. And, you know, I don't know what he's going to be able to do with them, because at best he's going to be able to kill, what, 2 drones that are mining gas? Because I don't think Killer's really going to saturate his third for quite some time.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to get himself a queen kill, but that comes at the loss of a ton of zerglings. A little bit of lost mining time there for Killer as well. But, there's the Burrow out of Catz immediately.
Reveals
his Overseer is brought in. Yes, it is. So no Burrow going to be dropped down on these banelings, or at least it's going to be mitigated a little bit.
Yeah. And how many drones do we have at the third right now?
Let's see.
For Killer. Okay, so he has potential 6 drones. Oh, and there goes 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, at best, I didn't think he was really going to get that many drones. He only got 3 there.
Killer's still way ahead in that regard by 11 workers, and he's up by 25 supply. Now down to 22, but still, overall, his roach count is 12 to nothing. He is down a few infestors. Yes, of course, Catz does love his mass infestor
But look
play.
at Killer's gas.
Yeah.
Even though he's down infestors.
Yeah, which means he could just spam out a bunch here in a bit.
Yeah, he certainly could.
Oh, and actually 9 roaches and a Hydralisk Den is what he decides to do with his money. Now, another pretty key difference here, Catz actually running back with those infestors because he sees the Overseers that are out there for his opponents. But taking a look, Killer already has +1 weapons, is about to finish up +1 ground carapace, and Catz has no upgrades to speak of at the moment.
No, he does not. And as those upgrades continue to stockpile, Killer's just going to be in a much better situation. Look at the supplies right now, 133 to 93. Killer just doing a much better job hitting his injects staying on top of his overlords. Catz at 106 out of 112 right now. Let's see if he supply walks. It's no overlord on the way right now.
No, but and he has a lot of excess larva too, which is a little bit interesting to me. He is moving up to, let's see here. No more drones.
And
just
he
a
is
bunch of
supply
Hydralisks.
blocked completely.
All right.
He has some more
Or three
overlords
infestors.
at the
Yeah,
same time.
there we go.
So
Yeah, plenty even.
Killer's
plenty of
just
larvae,
pulling
like we
away
said.
with this game in a serious way right now.
There is a fourth base coming up for Catz right now.
I think that's a bit
but,
premature on the fourth.
I guess it was more of a, supply blocked, not going to have this done for a while, and I'm going to accumulate too many resources, so I might as well introduce some more production.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I mean, I don't think it's going to pay off for him. And look at that, even with the overlords coming up, he's still not going to have that much of a supply overhead.
Oh, dear. And Catz really just doesn't have anything to hold off this attack from Killer. He is using some fungals aggressively, meeting Killer out in the field, which I commend him for.
Counter fungal going down right there, and he does catch a few roaches once again, but it looks like Killer's just going to move right through these destructible debris. Catz is getting very good fungals, do not get me wrong, but the sheer amount of units that Killer has on the field is pretty overwhelming now.
And the spawn disadvantage for Catz is really showcasing itself right here. It's just so easy for Killer to take down those destructible rocks and work his way right into the third, and there's just nothing Catz can do about it. He doesn't have a defensive position, and it would have been much harder for Catz to do this on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah,
Killer's
definitely.
third. And, you know, now Catz is just getting ripped to pieces here. Killer with outstanding position, but Catz just didn't have any units. He has pretty much all infestors. He didn't have any lings, he didn't have any roaches, no hydras, no mutas. I mean, he had no units. And there's no way you can hold a push of that kind of supply with nothing.
Add into that Killer was already on 1-1 upgrade, so every unit he brought to the battle was actually super cost effective. Catz does do a lean run by here, and he's going after this hatchery, but a few roaches are brought in, and that's about it. That counterattack was completely shut down, and now the damage output on these Hydralisks is just ridiculous, and they're just starting to crash through the available units from Catz, even taking out a few overlords in the process as well, as Killer continues to reinforce.
Yeah, and Killer coming in now with some roaches to join up with these hydras that he already had in position there. And Catz using his infestors very well, might be able to hold off. Even if he stays off this attack, he's still in such a bad spot. His third's been taken out. Killer is saturated on his 3 bases right now. He could potentially take a fourth. He could even take the gold if he wanted.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the way he's just funneling in units right now is pretty staggering. He's up to 153 supply once again. 20 more roaches coming off of Catz, but of course they're dropping right into battle where they're already being outmatched. They have to rally in just one by one as they actually spawn. That's allowing Killer to remain so cost effective. And Catz is now down to half the supply of his opponent. Killer has taken the game as Catz GG's out, and Dignitas has gone up 1-0.
수상전